Good day, lords and ladies of the internet. I am your host, the Parafox Archangel, the English gentleman of the internet, and I welcome you back to the library of Ruina, where today we're going to be doing something which is been well requested and long overdue. That's right, everyone. We are taking on the floor of natural sciences. It's a good way to come back from my holiday, isn't it? I don't want to do this. I actually don't. Just because I have to fight the servant of wrath, whose fight is actually a fucking joke to me. But I'll do it all the same. Lost in thought, are you? What could you be pondering about?
Long ago, I used to think that my existence didn't have any meaning. I had no expectations for my life. I just felt obligated. Obligated to live out the life given to me.
And that's changed now?
Enoch was different. He always had his eyes set on a light that seemed so far away. I wondered how he could have such a positive outlook. But I think I understand now. It's expectations that give us the strength to push through the hardship.
Those expectations being?
That we can trust things to become better tomorrow. That my life holds possibilities and significance that could make this world a better place.
That's too much optimism for me.
Natural science is a field of study born out of the urge to understand the inner workings of the world. Pure curiosity. Maybe people couldn't stand the unfairness that came from the inability to understand the world around them. So they began lighting up the world with knowledge, but only few made that advance, while others went back into the shadow-filled cave they were in. Still, too few are in a bright spot where they can see the laws of nature. Most enclose themselves with darkness, yet again, consuming the results without understanding the process.
Maybe you guys were right about the whole world being on the wane. This world is full of things they can't understand, even if they tried, so they just close their eyes. It's gonna carry on just fine with one fewer person anyway.
But that's not what you're meant to do. You can't just keep your eyes shut forever. That's not the humanity I know. Humans constantly try to understand and move toward the light. And I'm sure you're no different.
Look, I don't care what you think about humans, but don't force your generalizations on me. All that's ahead of me was darkness. There wasn't a single glimpse of light.
It may seem as if there's no light. You may think it's too dark to see anything. But the light is still there. But the light is in fact still there. There are many kinds of light, not just one. Once you gain the insight to see those other lights, you don't have to stay curled up in the darkness anymore. Though it's up to you to approach that light or stay in the darkness.
I'm just too worn out to walk towards any light. Hell, there's no way I could magically start seeing light that I couldn't my whole life in the first place. Even if I move forward, there's nothing left for me. I don't have anything I want either. I don't have any more expectations. There's no point doing that. Not in this city.
That's not true. You will harbor expectations. You just refuse to admit it.
Ooh! Ooh! We're getting a glimpse at Roland's past, are we? Oh, that means we're probably going to be fighting Roland this time, which I already knew, because it's been so long. Of course these things are going to get spoiled for me, especially when you look up assets for the game. Ha ha ha. This is why I need to not take so long doing these things. The empty husk of a man returns to his home, covered in the blood of strangers. Musty air, grey room, a bit large for one person. A mind that feels a bit too empty for a lonely life. In that unlit room, I lie on a sofa and stare at the ceiling. Beer cans rolling around the floor, cigarette ash floating in the air. Droplets of water falling from the kitchen tap, plinking in the sink. Laughter seeping through the wall. The scenery I could have been in. Scenery I've lost. The room of a man that holds no expectation. A room with not a single sign of improvement. Every night I fall asleep without any hope. That room occupied by a single black lump. Knock, 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 are you there? Kid with a bit pitch black heart? I bet you're flopped on your bed after lashing out your anger at some unlucky plebs yet again. I'm here to make you an offer you can't possibly refuse. Care to give it a listen? You aren't even a real human. What makes you think you can talk to me like you know all about people?
Because I know. Because I've seen it. I've seen the struggles of humans who writhed in agony to illuminate the world, to grope their way to the light.
People aren't as strong as you think. They're just lumps. And you are a copy of that lump. A fake. There's no meaning to be found anywhere. Hopes are just empty dreams. Expectations will never get you where you want.
Tibereth, what happened while I was looking away for a moment? It looks like Roland's mind resonated with this place. The emotions were amplified from interactions with the patron librarians of each floor in their subject matter.
I will admit, Roland, you certainly look interesting right there.
That might be why he got ruffled over small things and snapped. It's only a guess, though. That sounds like a plausible explanation. I unwillingly exposed disorderly sides of myself a few times, as well because of that. I'm sure you know how to handle this situation by now, right, Tibereth? I'm counting on you. That faint smile on your face, is this really fun to you? Well, to an extent, yes. I didn't want to be the only one with a history of making an embarrassing scene, you see.
Selfish until the end, aren't you, Angela? Wow, what a line. Wow. Alright.
What? Well, this is new, alright. Roland turned into that? The power wasn't just affecting Lady Angela? We'd do something, but there's too little we know. We don't know everything about Roland. We might not fully understand him fully, but we've got to face him head on. To the wretched being standing before me, I will show them great power. What is the reason I exist when there's nothing to look forward to?
Oh, Roland!
Lonely guy. Yeah, the world I knew wasn't so peaceful. No way I'd be allowed.
I was told how to move the screen, but whoever said it is a liar. Or maybe they're not, never mind.
They say shadows can't exist without light, but I don't see any light. This is my world. I'm too exhausted to look for any light.
Anything else you gotta say? Anything at all?
I'd prefer if you didn't mark her. Honestly, considering you're all piercing.
Heck, if anything, you should probably mark Gyro. Actually, it doesn't matter, because of the fact she's still based on speed.
So, let's see. I didn't even look.
I didn't even look at this, actually.
Adverse change. When Hysteria Gauge is filled, transform. The Hysteria Gauge rises upon losing clashes or being attacked by marked characters, and decreases upon winning clashes or attacking.
Basically just like the original.
Uses a page that leaves a mark on the target every 2 scenes. Marked characters become fatally vulnerable to all attacks and will be primarily targeted by Roland.
Alright.
Arcana Slave. Uses a mass attack page that targets all librarians every 4 scenes. Each individual librarian...
You're basically explaining summarization mass attacks because this is the first incident of us ever encountering one.
Right. That is an extremely stupid move to do, but at the same time, I got no other choice.
Okay, guys, let's see how well we can beat into Angela this time then, shall we? Excellent work, Zamara. That was probably the best I could expect from you. Good work there, too. Clearly, what we need to do against this boss is just plain stagger it to start with. Oh, you're not fully upgraded, I see. Ha. Ha. That means I need to lose a bunch of clashes with you this time. Somehow. You're not allowed to attack, because if you attack, you'll do the whatchamacallit. You should attack for the purposes of increasing the stagger. In fact, I'm gonna have you bullseye to increase that damage even further. There, if you don't attack, we should be fine-ish. Well, that's just awful. You were meant to lose those clashes, guys. I don't know what's gonna happen now, but considering everything. Oh, come on, sword sharpened with tears. Let's do this. Did you just transform, or are we still safe? I don't think you transformed because of the fact there's whatchamacallit. Right, that means I have time to fully just stock up on all of my things that I need to stock up on. Like light and all that. You're staggered, and with all these attacks, you should easily die this turn. Okay, bye-bye, Roland. Oh, Jesus Christ. That wasn't even fair. That wasn't even fair. And now we do this. Oh, dear God, I hate this. This is actually the worst thing imaginable. Let's have you do that to start with. And then probably energy conversion, just so that we get the extra light. Let's see. You're the only one clashing with him. You're going to do 10 damage to yourself via that. Take that attack and that attack. That one isn't being touched, so I feel I should try and attack that one. And then Cindy here can just make sure it's going to get goddamn paralyzed the boss snake's round for it when it does its mass attack. To minimize all the effects it's going to deal. We need to do slashing damage to you. Well, okay. This is the best I can think of for this situation. So, yeah. Go? Come on, Roland, kill the little so-and-sos. That is not how you kill a little so-and-so, Roland. That is how you get killed by a little so-and-so. Okay. Now let's apply the love and give it to Tibereth for the clashing potential. Now then, you are mass attacking. You have no power to fight that mass attack with, unfortunately. Let's see, I think that will roll a 4 every time. So as long as the dice we roll for, what am I calling it, is at least a 4, we should be okay. Actually, there isn't any guarantee that you will do your mass attack next turn, because you shouldn't get hit by that. I'm stunning both of these before you get an attack, or rather, I'm distracting them so you will stun them. Alright, let's see how this turns out. I'm going to just start working on the basis of ignoring the hermit, I think, might be the better idea. I'm surprised that thing did so well, then.
Right. Still doing nothing. You're doing act this turn, meaning you will do the mass attack next turn. But he doesn't have a strength bonus. We are in a very vulnerable position. That could do a lot of damage. That will do a bunch of damage. That might, in fact, that's probably not even worth risking doing the damage with. The only attacks on the boss should be ones which are deflecting it. Because next turn, it will be stunned. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Trying to get the exact fucking precise number to stun him and then getting it wrong by even the slightest margin is always so goddamn horrible. I'm just gonna do that ability and see. Okay. Excellent, excellent. Good job. Smash, smush. Alright, all the staffs are dead. Now, when there is no companion, select that on you. You get +5 power versus the enemy. However, if I bulldoze you or bullseye you, really? You're fucking doing that? Really, Roland? The fact I think it's better to just fucking take that on everyone than to let it happen. Let's see, you're paralyzed for each 3 of those attacks. I didn't actually think you'd do the mass attack because there are no staves left. I will admit, Roland. Also, I love how there's been no text going on, appearing across the screen for this one, which is interesting. So, if I just fucking take it, then I just bullseye him, which will do... Alright. Just because I am completely unsure whether he'll get stunned or not from the attack. Your minimum is 6, your maximum is 7. Ironically, it's probably best to just let it play out, and you will probably get stunned anyway. What happened? Okay, we're fine. Just wanted to check that. I don't even have the tenacity left in me, yet I couldn't forfeit my grets alongside it shamefully. With nothing left inside, that heart began to feel the cold. I should have emptied out my heart so I wouldn't have to experience loss ever again. Oh, that's just... no. Only darkness resides here. How can I suddenly start seeing what I couldn't my whole life? Don't wake me up. I don't want to rest my body here. I want to rest my body here. Aww. Everything changed. I thought at least you would stay with me forever. Right. Right. 150 HP, really? The edge of the sharpened sword will pierce me, the man who couldn't save a thing. Holding expectations will only betray me. There's nothing but despair. Despair. Yeah, that's quite apt for the Night of Despair. I swore to protect someone for the first time in my life, and I failed even that. Roland, how many people have you killed in this game? What do I have left? There's no point in having expectation anymore. Only endless despair wells up inside me. Then... I wonder if there's a button to readjust this back to the center. Alright, so let's read this then. Sorrow. Give tears to a random sword every 3 scenes. If the character is staggered, activates a scene after. Despair. When a sword with tears takes lethal damage, falls into despair next scene. Blessings of Despair. When the character falls into despair, all swords fully recover HP and stagger resist and use special combat pages. A Broken Heart. If all swords impale the character in despair state, become staggered and untargetable next turn. And don't you mean untargetable? Yeah, untargetable next turn. Tears. Gain a speed dice, use special pages, and change resistances while under effect of tears. Respite. Enter a state of suppression upon taking lethal damage. Revives after 2 scenes. Sword that pierces despair. If this fails to deal any damage to its target while in despair state, the sword will impale Roland, damaging him. Okay, so let's take a look at this then. You're doing honestly fuck all. You're doing honestly fuck all. You, however, are doing some big nasty abilities because you deal percentile HP, which is evil, and I have never liked it when you deal percentile HP. So you know what? You are getting fucking battered to all hell. Cindy, it is extremely weak to piercing damage, which is one of your gimmicks. In fact, 2 of you have the gimmick of piercing damage. So I expect you to use that piercing damage to your fullest potential, everyone. Are we understood? As for you, however, I could just say Dragon Fist and be done with it. Or I could have you emotionally turbulence this thing, and thus gain the sword's attacks are whatchamacallit. Melee, which is honestly surprising, considering. So, yeah, let's just see how this ends up going. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, look, the sword's staggered. Please tell me it doesn't actually die and we still keep attacking it. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I needed all the effects to proc, after all. Oh. Excellent. Okay, despair mode. Roland, you look very creepy right there. You're just like, kill them. Right. So, what are my options here? You are best doing that. Ironically, you're best beaten via this. And then as for that major attack, Fervid Emotions is probably one of the best options, but knowing my luck, it's still gonna fucking fail to all hell. There's nothing you can do, I'm afraid, at the moment. We're better off trying to leave your attacks until next round, in case some of these fail. That will die effortlessly, that's for sure. Honestly, you should juggling that, just in case this, whatever you're doing, fails, so that its max thing is reduced. That logically should succeed, but you never know. Part of the reason why I'm keeping you in tow. Actually, if you Will of the Backstreet this thing this turn, if this fails, you'll be able to Will of the Prescript it next turn, because you will have all your charge, giving the bonuses. You will be able... It will be paralyzed twice, potentially, meaning that will become 3-4 and 3-3, meaning your Will of the Prescript can't fail because you get +1 dice power. You'll have the endurance, so it'll always be 5 minimum. That has 5 paralysis, so it's already 4 and 3, which means Regalia should already destroy it. And then I'm just hitting with everything else just because, you know, energy. Go. Excellent. Straight in the back. Excellent. Straight in the back.
Oh my, yes! So nice! Right, now feels like a very easy time for us to just murder Roland, using all the abilities that give us light and all light cards and all that crap, because he only has 90 HP. You guys do an awful lot of damage when someone is, whatchamacallit, stunned, you know. So, yeah. Tiph is rank 5, so she doesn't need to do anything. Apart from maybe an energy cycle, just to, you know, double check, make sure she's got the most amount of... Actually, you could probably use a leap. But we'll do it as the very last ability, just so everyone else has their chance to do things first. Well, that didn't last long. Okay. Was it a sin to want a bite of apple? Am I forbidden from desiring such small bites of happiness? Of course not, Roland! Of course not! To wish for everyone's happiness, the pursuit of my own happiness had to follow. Alright. I never hoped for much, but now I have nothing to fill this place with. Huh. Alright. You know, the issue is we don't have much stagger resist. That has not been recovering. I never hoped for much, but now I have nothing to fill this place with. Okay. Flicking Desire. If HP falls to 50% or lower, transform into the King Breed next scene. HP does not go below 50% before transformation. Fine. Oh, you don't take much of anything. Road of Bliss. Every 3 scenes creates Brilliant Bliss and becomes untargetable, but does not act. The following scene uses a special combat page that targets against all librarians. Narcissism. If 3 or fewer librarians manage to negate the special combat scene, gain 3 strength and haste next scene. If 2 or less librarians are alive, 1 or no librarians negating this attack will activate this effect. So, if 3 or fewer librarians manage to negate... Wait, what? If all librarians negate the attack, become staggered. Right. Destroy all targets' dice, inflict 2 disarm and 2 bind next scene. On clash win, next power, next dice gains +2 power. On hit, break a speed dice next scene. Right, and that's just minor. Okay, right. You have your horn ram, so you'll be able to negate that sparkling strike, thankfully. We're all on full health, we just have very little stagger is the issue. 6 to 12. What can I negate a 6 to 12 with? Probably bulky impact, ironically, actually. Alright, guys. Let's see how well this goes. I think the intention is we are definitely meant to do the whatchamacallit, aren't we? The mass attack thing in order to stagger you. Yeah. What's this? In a clash, if the winner's die is greater than recover hate, but deal bonus, loser takes bonus damage and winner recovers HP. You know what? I'm actually going for Road of Happiness on you. Because obvious reasons. You're doing the same sort of thing again, are you? Yep. Okay then. What options do I have to negate that goddamn counter dice? Let's see, your total HP was 180. Half of that means 160, and we did approximately 80 damage, meaning we should be able to do it once again. You are also weakened, meaning all of your dice will be reduced, which is fine, which is good, which is what we kinda like to see. So, should Cindy do anything this turn? Been considering... The fact I'm not even convinced the Sparkling Strike matters is kinda interesting. Okay, guys, go. I think this ought to work. Wow, I am very shocked that did so badly. Doesn't matter too much, but... Yep, you're about to transform. Alright, Roland. To wish for everyone's happiness, the pursuit of my own happiness. King agreed. Chooses a different set of combat pages. On a successful hit, deal bonus damage equal to the stack of bleeds on the target. Okay, same as before. Every 3 scenes becomes Brilliant Bliss. Oh, and you also restore all your HP. Right, that's perfectly fine, isn't it? If a librarian fails to negate any one of the special combat pages' attacks, deal 15 damage to all librarian and recover 25 HP. A Moment's Bliss. If a librarian successfully negates all attacks from the... Okay, so it's singular target, the whatchamacallit thing. Right, okay. Well, you're missing a dice. Who the hell cares? Do you have any weaknesses? Of course you don't. Alright, guys. It's time for us to start stacking that paralysis we've been, you know, playing with before. Although I feel I'm going to save your paralysis until next turn. You're resistant to bludgeoning, so you should try and tank as many of the attacks as possible. Same could also be said for you, honestly. In fact, you can tank that easily. However, that big attack, we're still trying to find a way to counter. And Maxium will have a lot of bleed next turn, but at the same time, he really doesn't care about bleed. Alright, guys. Go. How well does this King of Greed do versus us? Well, that first worked brilliantly. That actually worked out perfectly. Well done, Maxium. How their emotion keeps resetting at the end of every turn. The amount of emotion coins they've generated. It's really getting irritating, is all I can say. Right, you've got 6 whatchamacallit, meaning those 2 are very weak, but that one is ordinary strength. Okay, guys. Are we ready? All of his cards are weakened. Because of the paralysis, he's taking extra damage due to fragile. He's bleeding, so all of these attacks will do some damage to him. And he's taking additional damage too. Bloody murder him, and for the love of God, you. Chain the trash disposal to prove why I keep you. Please. Well, you chained it once, at least, so... And you got another proc on the big attack, so you know what? I'll give you credit to that. And goodbye. Oh, now we get to see what this is. That looks fun. If you take a step not knowing that there's a cliff ahead. Wait, are we fighting all the other magical girls? What? Guys, what's going on? Focus on the moment. Trust your intuition. I've never trusted my intuition. My intuition goes sideways all the time. Is there a point in agonizing over things you have no idea how to deal with right now? Very good point! Leading the way through foolish acts. There's not a thing to guide me. Ha. I'm anxious, but I don't want to know. I won't know what's ahead. Blinded by cardinal desires and jealousy, he willingly walks to the edge of the cliff. Ha. I had no plans or destination to begin with. I'm too tired to fly. Then there's only one path for me to take. Please give some applause for this foolish man. You all have 10 HP, which is clearly something odd. All returns to Ni has unique modes of behavior that cycle in the following order. Nihi, greed, hate, despair, wrath. Your greed, your hate, your despair, and your wrath. Each mode features different passive abilities and combat pages. Pointless Endeavor takes no stagger damage outside of Wrath mode. Takes no damage from Bleed, Burn, Erosion. This character's speed dice cannot be sealed. Do we even have the potential to seal speed dice? Worthless Greed. Combat pages used against this character lose 5 power unless the Magical Girl of Happiness is the user. What? Each time this character loses a clash, a random ally gains the combat page Fragment of Bliss, uses a massive attack page, the Road of Gold on the second scene. If all allies negate the attack of the Road of Gold, loses 50 HP and shifts to hate mode next scene. Okay. If any ally is hit, deal 10 damage to all librarians and restore 20 HP. On a successful hit, deals bonus damage equal to the amount of bleed on the target. So I'm guessing that's active when you're in greed mode, right? Combat pages used against this character lose 5 power unless the Magical Girl of Love is the user. After winning 10 total clashes, uses a mass attack page, Arcana Slave, on the next scene. If the Magical Girl of Love uses Arcana Slave, loses 50 HP and shifts to Despair mode. Meaningless Despair. Combat pages used against this character lose 5 power unless the Magical Girl of Justice is the user. If all dice on a combat page this character uses lose or draw in a clash, that page will be locked out, starting with the next scene. If all 3 pages are locked out, loses 50 HP and shifts to Wrath mode next scene. Senseless Wrath. Combat pages used against this character lose 5 power unless the Magical Girl of Courage is the user. Uses a mass attack page every 2 scenes. Upon becoming staggered, loses 50 HP and shifts to the original mode. Right. Why do you still have bleed, out of interest? But okay. Petrified Hate. The Magical Girl of Love will stand in for the librarian that breaks this statue at the start of the next scene. If a magical girl breaks the statue, the librarian with the lowest HP will be replaced instead. Alright.
Magical girls possess special key pages with unique stats, passive abilities, and combat pages. So, the Will of Knee, summation. You're currently in knee form, is what I'm clearly getting from this. Mass attack. On use, targeted librarians are inflicted with 7 feeble, 7 disarm, and 7 fragile until the end of combat? Fuck off! What's the summation? 15? So basically I'm guessing I need to break you guys in order to gain the benefits of you. So in other words, each of these people need to kill one of the magical girls. Well, you're becoming hate, or whatever. You can become justice. And you can become happiness. And then you just stay in the goddamn middle, and whatchamacallit, buff them all thanks to charge. Okay? Okay. Sounds good. Alright, guys, let's see if this works out. Please don't fail. Perfectly fine. Actually, I just thought, should I have killed every magical girl or should I have waited until it's their turn? This has left me rather concerned, but also not caring. So what goes next? Greed. So pointless greed. Okay. So what are each of yours? Hope. Road home. Individual. On hit, stagger target. Well, that's fun. So I can just flat out fucking stagger this man, is what you're telling me. Oh, you're just afflicted with all the disarm stuff now. Oh, so that was on use, not the other thing. Right. Right. So, this is the fight of the magical girls, clearly. Each time this character loses a clash, a random ally gains the combat page Fragment of Bliss. Okay. So I need to make sure this character basically loses all of their special stuff. Right? Combat start. Give 2 strength and endurance to an ally targeted by the Gesture of Knee this scene. So that's for when they're not fighting. What bonuses do you have? Arcana Slave. How the Christ do you get that? At the start of the scene, draw 3 pages and fully restore light. Oh! I like those. Uses a unique set of combat pages. After winning 10 clashes in total, the cost of Arcana Slave is reduced to 0. Okay. So all of them have their unique stuff, and all of them have their various different resistances and weaknesses. Like, you're ineffective versus all forms of stagger. You are actually you're probably the weakest, Queen of Hatred. Or Magical Girl of Love, whatever you prefer. Oh, each of them have hope. Oh, that's cool. I can't lose here if I can be of help. Aren't you immune to erosion? Yeah, you're immune to erosion. Alright, let's think how we want to do this then. I kind of enjoy Tibereth just in the center being like, go, magical girls, go! Which is exactly what we're going to be doing. So you draw 3 pages and fully restore light, right?
Well, surely if that's the case, I can just do all 3 of those attacks and not have to worry.
What's your next thing after hate? What do I have to worry about with hate? After winning 10 clashes, that's what I need to do.
So basically, you need to win 10 clashes before he wins 10 clashes, is what the gimmick is. Right, got it. Meanwhile, you just need to keep attacking on the chance that you get the paralysis off. So, let's just go. Question mark. Hold on. Oh, too late. I really kind of am interested what that question mark was meant to be then. Right. Road of Gold. So each of us should have a fragment of bliss. If all allies negate the page's attack, loser loses 50 HP and proceeds to hate mode. So you can only be staggered when you're in wrath form, which means me using the road home then was completely goddamn useless, and I should have waited with it. Oh well, we know that now. That is the key thing. We know that now. But we can still keep beating this person's arse in until we no longer need to. Now, because you apparently did awful for your dice, you don't have much choice about what you're going to be fighting. What's most important is we keep attacking with the magical girl of justice due to the crap. Also, hope. Let's just constantly hope with everyone, because it doesn't look like there's any reason why we shouldn't ever hope. Let's do this. Go. Nice try, nice try, a big nice try, and a screw at you. Excellent job. You might not do much, Tiph, but you're doing a little bit. Each and every time. And 2 damage every round does eventually build up. But most importantly, you're just marking him so he takes double damage. Right. Now then. Now you are on the the clashing side of things. On use, mark the target. What does that mean? Hold on. I'll admit I'm not convinced I want her to get marked. So, what we need is for her to win each and every clash, is the thing. As much as that is possible at the very least. Okay. Go. Ha. 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 Every attack still does 10 HP damage to you. Well, the last lot did, at least. She's just attacking to make sure the magical girls know who they're targeting. If that makes sense. I don't know why you... Oh, you've got +7 strength somehow. Okay. marked as the villain. Yep, you are the villain. What of it? We definitely need to spam hope every single round with this fight. That is for sure. We got the road home, the road of gold again, so once it reaches you, we will just instantly stagger the man. Which is what we need to do. Okay. I'm not convinced you should attack in any form this round because of the potential hysteria stuff. Oh no, wait, Mark just makes you weak to resist everything and he's still targeting her and he probably doesn't suffer from the hysteria stuff. Oh yeah, so we're fine. This is it, girls! Fight! Fight the evil prick! Power of teamwork and friendship away! And also, you know, waifu, waifu doing all the damage in the world, because Jesus Christ. Are we even gonna get to the point where we stun you? Is the question, I suppose. I mean, theoretically, we could just keep you in this particular phase until we no longer have to. You know? Oh, now I know why it says your dice can't get sealed, because that's all that this girl because that's what this girl does all the time. Right. Don't know why I didn't even consider that. Alright, let's see how well you do this time. And power of love! Man. The only risky part of this entire endeavor was the wrath and greed fight, because you could accidentally kill the boss before her. Or before Roland or whatever. I just remembered that's Roland. I'd completely forgotten the fact that was Roland. Okay. Now, we have other things to deal with. Interesting. So how this works is it's justice versus justice, from the looks of it. And also these things exist. Those are annoying. However, Tiph can actually engage these and actually be useful. Is it the first target each scene you? It's probably better if the other magical girls target these guys. Just for the sake of, you know, the fact that we don't want to potentially deal with other things. Apparently I can Arcana Slave again. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Alright. So this is the scene where a lot of death is probably gonna happen to this big bastarding thing. Because your dice aren't weakened anymore. You're gaining +7 strength, potentially, from on all of these attacks, meaning you are going to deal dice value ×2 of percentage of characters' max HP. Max 12. God damn it. Ouch, that hurt. That's one dead sword. In addition, another reason why Tiph needs to attack every single time is because of the fact that she can inflict paralysis. Ah, you're now fully sealed up. Meaning, I don't need to worry about you. Haha! But in addition, because no one is getting attacked by him this turn, there's no point using the buff of hope, is there? Yeah, because no one's targeted by the Jester. Alright, girls, let's see how well this round goes. And kablooey! This is what I think of you and your goddamn mass attacks! Die, Mr. Jester! You looked so happy then, didn't you, Queen of Hatred? Absolutely brilliantly happy. Alright. You now have 1 HP. Are you serious right now? Just 1 HP. But I'm guessing now is when we need to do all of the stagger damage to you. Right? In other words, I just need to the Road of Gold home you and you should be dead. Right? Wait, that deals 10 damage to yourself. Does that mean you're gonna just die next round? The weakness is also Tibereth can't really attack this scene because of all the whatchamacallit. Because of all the counter dice. But at the same time, they hopefully should work out pretty well too. Let's just see how this ends up going. And the blue? Oh, it's dead. Well, that was simple. I didn't realize it actually had 1 HP. I thought that was just because of the fact of whatchamacallit. We just needed to do the stagger damage now to finally kill it. I didn't realize it actually had 1 HP. Wow. Alright. Magical Girls. 4 unique Magical Girl pages are shuffled into the deck. While all 4 Magical Girl pages are in hand, the librarian gains 1 to 2 strength each scene, and is not affected by Feeble, Disarm, or Bind. That sounds awesome, actually. Void. Add an all returns to the Void page to the hand. Cost 3. Combat start. Exhaust all pages from hand. Every scene after this gains strength and endurance equal to the number of pages exhausted this way. Okay. That's extreme. Nihil. This page is only effective if the librarian possesses all 4 of the following abnormality pages: Greed, Hate, Despair, and Wrath. At the start of each scene, inflict 5 Feeble, Disarm, and Bind to all other characters. Greed, Hate, and Wrath lose their drawbacks. So in other words, become a god. Compared to the other mortals. Alright. Very specific, though. I love how you know, this makes me think I need to check it with the other ones, because that's a picture of Roland doing the mass attack rather than doing the attack rather than the others, which is interesting. I thought it would actually be the magical girl themselves, not Roland or the person that they originally were. So that's a pretty damn good attack. That is also pretty damn good. Gold Rush. On individual. On hit, restore 1 light, gain 1 strength next scene. So in other words, potentially a free mass attack if it hits everyone. Cool. Blind Rage. Targets all other characters, including allies.
Probably not the most useful then, unless you have a team that's very resistant to bludgeoning. Nifheal. Mass attack. On use. If there are no pages in hand, inflict 4 feeble, disarm, bind, and paralysis to all enemies this scene and next scene. In other words, use that tier 3 attack which you just showed us, right? Is what I'm hearing. I have nothing but my sorrow. And I want nothing more. It has been, it still is, faithful to me. That wasn't my proudest moment.
Are you feeling better now?
I don't know. I do kind of feel relieved. But that didn't really feel like myself.
It's good you vented out your feelings, at least.
I'm, sorry for calling you fake and stuff earlier.
I don't mind. I've already gone through numerous repeats carrying someone's memories. I'm not sure if I really am the same as my past self anymore. So you aren't wrong on that account.
But are you okay with losing your old self completely?
Why are you so serious about it?
That is a winky face! What the hell kind of animation is that? That wasn't in the list of assets when I did Tibereth, when I was making Tibereth. Where was that face? That would have been kind of fun to use for the Christmas song. Which, if you haven't seen, go watch it. And all the rest, I worked quite hard this year for them. It's why I took the break.
I don't care I don't care what my original is. I don't care if I'm stuck here as a librarian. I'm good as long as I actually exist here, and that is what I think. Every one of us has our own worth and meaning simply by existing.
Even for a man like me who holds zero expectation?
I'm sure you do. I'm honestly not very confident, even though I speak how I know better. But I still want to have faith. You're free to believe whatever you want, right?
Yep, you are.
Well, now I can actually use the Tibereth floor for invitations because of ego pages. For those of you who have been wondering why I haven't done any of the other floors for using invitations, it's simply because ego pages are just that powerful to use. I mean, look at this. That just pretty much guarantees you stagger someone, after all. I'm not sure if I'll ever use that. Or that, but the other 3 are pretty decent. That's individual, so it's pretty decent, if you can stack enough strength on a person. Via things like magical girls. I kind of want to know what those cards are now. But you know what? It's time for the chit-chat. Let's see the chit-chat. What could you be musing on, intoxicated, all by your lonesome? You don't seem to be in the mood for conversation. I don't really feel like treating you nicely. Are you upset about your alone time being interfered, or is it to the shackles of the past that bind you? Both, I guess. I dislike both. I'm denied something of my own, then and now. But I do enjoy having drinks with others sometimes. On the premise that I am not among those others. I'm just saying that I'm not totally against it. I don't think he'll bite, but let me ask out of courtesy. Wanna have a drink? You do know what my answer would be. As you suspected, I don't quite feel like having a beverage. I just love the difference in the speaking mannerisms between these two. Pure upper-class citizen sin. I do not feel like having a beverage. And him, just like the lower-class person being like, you want a drink? It's like two worlds clashing with each other. What are you here for, then? There's nothing else to see here. Let's say that I have been visiting others to introduce myself. You're not like before.
Perhaps I'm experiencing changes, as nobody is ever truly immutable. Yes, speaking of, it would seem that most of the patron librarians have collected their thoughts and made up their minds. What about you?
I don't know yet. I'm scared of decidedly setting my mind on something too. If what I choose turns out to be an untruthful answer, I wouldn't know what to do.
No man can choose the right path at all times. One only has to believe that the path they are taking is the right one. Such is the nature of truth. It is akin to faith. The paths you have chosen, where you stand at the moment, all that you've seen, heard, and touched for yourself contribute to the road of truth. You need to carry the faith that you're headed for truth.
Thanks for the nice words, whatever that was about. Though what you're saying is all too hard for me to wrap my head around. It's always been. Did you make up your mind at least?
Maybe so, maybe no. Peradventure, I will express my thoughts when everyone has formed an opinion. I suppose I shouldn't waste any more of your time. It was a short yet enjoyable conversation.
You know, this is probably why I love playing this game, as infuriating as it is at times. Because the messages that it talks about actually speak to me personally. Like that message there. Just keep rolling towards no matter what path you are on, as long as you believe it to be the path of truth, you are on the right path. That speaks to me on so many levels because of the fact of, I don't know how many times I've thought of, why do I keep bothering with YouTube? It's clearly not going anywhere. The progression is so slow. Am I ever going to be able to do anything involving this? The lines like that just help give you the faith that to just keep going. No matter what happens, you just keep going. You know? Well, everyone, it looks like I'm all out of time for today's episode, so what can I say other than thank you all for joining me today. I have been your host, the Parafox Archangel, the English gentleman of the internet, and I hope to see you all again next time. But I'm afraid that until then, it is time for me to bid thee all farewell, good day, and finally, good night.